I know these interactions can feel overwhelming, but I also want to give you some hope. Sometimes these conversations can lead to positive change if approached the right way and under the right circumstances. Let's get to it. Here are some strategies that have worked for me when navigating these kinds of conversations. Number one, focus on the present. Manipulative people often gaslight you by rewriting history or distorting past events. When this happens, you can respond by saying, I know we often remember things differently, so let's stay focused on what's happening right now. This approach keeps the conversation grounded in the present and prevents you from being derailed by endless debates over the past. Number two, slow down the conversation if they throw multiple issues at you in a rapid succession. What's sometimes called word salad. Don't let them overwhelm you. Instead, calmly say, my brain doesn't work that fast. Let's focus on one issue at a time. You mentioned this, and go into it. Can we talk about this first before moving on? This prevents them from using chaos as a tactic to confuse you or frustrate you. Number three, set clear boundaries. It's okay to communicate your limits. For example, I want to have a productive conversation, but I need us to be respectful in this dialogue. If that's not possible, we may need to pause and revisit this conversation later. Boundaries aren't just for their benefit, they'll also help you stay grounded. Last, acknowledge and consider the type of relationship you have with this person and the context before deciding whether or not to engage. If it's family, you may need to maintain some level of contact, so a productive conversation would be worthwhile. If it's a friend and the relationship has become toxic, it may be easier to step away entirely. If it's a coworker, focus on solutions that allow you to coexist professionally without becoming enmeshed in personal drama. Look for signs of introspection. Some manipulative individuals can change, but only if they're willing to reflect on their behavior. Pay attention to is if this person can admit specific wrongdoings, acknowledge how actions have impacted you, show willingness to improve. Sometimes using these techniques can create real breakthroughs. In one recent conversation, I stayed focused, I slowed the pace of the conversation, and I maintained my boundaries, and it actually worked. The other person responded very positively, and our relationship actually improved. I kept the conversation grounded and in the present. I calmly addressed issues one at a time. The other person showed enough willingness to introspect and adjust their behavior. While this isn't always the outcome, it's a reminder that meaningful change is possible in the right context.